Good morning and welcome to the show. My name's Donnie. Last name's Glover. In it to win it for the long haul, baby. So how you living out there? Enjoying the weather? Have you been to the beach? Have you been on a trip? Have you been on vacation? Are you one of those fortunate people who get to jump on a plane or take the family and you go for a ride south, north? Saw some pictures yesterday of people, black people, enjoying Martha's Vineyard. I've never been to Martha's Vineyard. I've been some places, but I've never been to Martha's Vineyard. Oh, I'm like that first sip of coffee. I did see a couple of, well, at least one movie. What was it? The Inkwell? Wasn't that about Martha's Vineyard? Big ups to our many sponsors that help make this show happen every day. Big ups to STEMCityUSA.com, including Dr. Tyrone Tabor and the Metaverse. That involves those Oculus goggles that a lot of the young people and others, gamers, they are called, that they use to play these games. They wear the virtual reality goggles. But we use it to broaden our teaching platforms, create shows like this. More importantly, to get our young people excited and interested in this new world of technology. We're going to New York City. I don't know how many of you may know this, but my big sister got her wings, and so we have her ceremony, and I'll be leaving Baltimore and going immediately to New York City. And we'll be having a Black Wall Street up in Harlem at the Harlem Business Alliance. So if you're up in New York City, make sure you go to Black Wall Street, Harlem, the number 10.eventbrite.com, RSVP for that event. The Black Wall Street in New York always brings out some dynamic people. And one lady I'm looking forward to meeting is Miss Orlin Evans, heavily active in the community. Did get a chance to talk with some of the people who've inspired me over the years yesterday. Yesterday being our birthday for Be More News. Happy birthday, Be More News. It's a year-long celebration. Fear not, fret not. There will be plenty of time for you to be a part, including at the National Black Business Month event on August 22nd, Monday, August 22nd. You go to blackbusinessmonth.eventbrite.com. That'll be here in Baltimore. Mike Randolph, you got to be the most consistent top fan of this show, all the way from Tampa Bay, by way of Santan. It's a long story, huh? School will be starting soon. Yes, that's how you do it, Michael. I knew something was missing. School will be starting soon, and a lot of our young people will be, as my daddy would say, going back to the salt mines. I think it starts, what's the date, the 10th? Some of our young people go back to school even sooner than that. But nonetheless, it's back to school time. I got to say this. If you're sending your child back to school with $200 belts, you lost your damn mind. Yeah, I said it. We send our kids back to school looking good, but then we give them all kinds of excuses. I am not for the excuses. We keep dummying down these young people, and I don't understand it. I'll tell you why. Our ancestors went through thick and thin to get us to where we are today. Our ancestors, fresh out of slavery, all they wanted was to learn how to read. Here you got free schools everywhere, and the Negro don't want to go to school. A Negro got every excuse in the world for not doing his damn homework. Stop giving these kids this low standard stuff. 60 is not passing. 60 mean you damn near, you just got half of them right. And you can't work nowhere with 50% accuracy. It ain't gonna work. So stop dummying down these kids, giving them all kinds of excuses. You teach TikTok dances at the age of 2, but then you say, oh, he can't do algebra. Stop it with that dumb stuff. Oh my God. Let's go to these lines, see if my man over here. You over here yet, Mr. Kelly? No, he's not in here yet. Yeah, I can't go for the dummying down of America. I ain't for it. It's like they're learning TikTok dances. You know, they should be learning other dances. Like library dance, the do it system. Where you at, Doc? Doc, are you in here? I guess he's not in here yet. Still getting this particular together. And so we got to get back to the village. We want people to come to the city of Baltimore. We want businesses to come to the city of Baltimore. But these businesses are not going to go where you have illiterate people because they need people to work in their companies. So why would they go to a city where education is not revered? It's free. And if you got people on North Avenue who are not doing the job, get rid of them. It's real simple. I'm tired of press releases. I'm tired of press conferences. We want to see the end result. Now, I don't know how true Fox 45 is, but they've been digging in on the Baltimore City public school system, raising questions that nobody else raises. And speaking of, investigations and all of that, we saw who's this woman? Isabel Cummins investigate the Marilyn Mosby. Investigate school headquarters. You want to investigate something? Plenty of corruption up there. Take your butt up there. But they'll never investigate Baltimore City School Board headquarters because too many people getting paid. Legally and illegally, I imagine. A lot of money comes through there. We get all of this money, the 5th highest funded public school system in the country. And all we hear about is what they can't do, what they won't do, and what they don't do. I'm going to try to get some of these school board people on there. Got Miss Esposito coming. Ashley Esposito is a woman that is in first place of the 4 people running. Ashley Esposito, she'll be coming on the show in the upcoming days. But we got to stop this dummying down of our parents, of our children. We got to start listening to our children. Our children, in some cases, are going through all kinds of stuff, and they just need somebody to listen to them. We got to get back to that school mentality where the entire village is involved in that young person. That's how it was for me growing up. Everybody knew Donnie Boy going to school, grandma, grandpa, Uncle Tommy next door, all my uncles, because I was staying at grandma's house. Everybody. That was the real education. Staying at grandma's house, finding out who's who in the family. Everybody loved the Lord, whether they were Muslim or Christian, mostly Christian. I remember my cousin Jamal joined the Nation of Islam. I remember the little jabs that my dad and my uncle used to give Jamal. You don't eat pork no more? Assalamu alaikum. That's how my cousin used to say it. God rest his soul. But it didn't matter because we all knew the Lord, loved the Lord. So as we get ready to go back to school, let's make education a priority for everybody. In my household, even grandma was reading at 75, playing the piano at 75. But we keep coming up with all of these cockamamie BS excuses. We come from greatness. Our people built pyramids. And there's nothing intimidating about knowing that you come from greatness unless you just refuse to be great. And then you probably shouldn't even be listening to this show if that's the case. You should be over there at the kiddie table. This is the grown people table. We're having grown conversations because we want our people to do better. And we can do better. We have done better. Black people fresh out of slavery established Black Wall Streets. Black people fresh out of slavery established Black Wall Streets. They didn't have no education. They had hustle, grit, determination. But today all we seem to have is excuses. Excuses will accomplish nothing. People going back to college. My big thing for you going back to college, avoid debt. By any and all means necessary, avoid debt. And that's why a lot of people chose BCCC. BCCC had this relationship with Coppin, where you go to junior college and then the Coppin. My daughter went through the program. She's a 3.8 student. Didn't work for her. Didn't work well for her. There was a lack of communication between Baltimore City Community College and Coppin. And that's who I'm throwing straight under the bus, messing with my little girl. Give me all these excuses. I think my daughter's looking at Towson State. And I've been to Towson State, took classes there. I can tell you this, we better stop pussyfooting with these students. And you can't keep hiding behind the HBCU banner, especially if you are delivering an inferior product. There are people who have been to HBCUs, and there are people who have been to traditionally white schools. I'm going to tell you, get your education where you can get it. Whether you went to Morehouse or you went to Morgan, whether you went to Towson or Hopkins, just get the damn education. Don't matter how you get there, just get there. And I don't say whatever's better. What's best is what's best for you. Your friend might love Hampton, but you love University of Baltimore. You should go where you love to go. And don't let nobody shame you. You got to go to white school. You got to go to black school. Go to school. Finish. Debt-free. And help somebody else to go. Then you said something. But you got to finish. Our guest is all ready. He just got straight out of the makeup, got off the makeup trailer down the block. You know he's a celebrity, show stealer, stunter, #1 stunner, the creator of the Black Business Olympics, Dr. Erick Kelly.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. And you do know that I be paying attention and watching this great show as you do a great job. And the context in the conversations that you have with your guests are just
I was
stunning.
having this conversation just by myself.
Well, this morning,
did you go to HBCU or traditionally white college?
I went to HBCU.
I've been to both.
Well, the reason, but I chose to go there not because it was the HBCU. I had scholarships for schools all over the country, and I did some research to find out where was the best Black artists are, and they just happened to be at North Carolina Central University at the time, and so they didn't even have a scholarship.
How do you know they were there and not at Howard or UCLA? Help me out.
Well, what happened was, Ernie Barnes came from my town, and he left and went to California.
Hold up. You can't just be dropping out legends' names like that. Who, for those who do not know, was Ernie Barnes?
Well, Ernie Barnes was the guy who did Marvin Gaye's cover, The Sugar Shack, and then he was the guy who did
You mean
Good
from Good
Times.
Times?
He did all of the Good Times pieces, but more
Ain't
important,
we lucky we got him?
yes, indeed, and but more importantly, here in Durham, he was one of those I would say legends now because he's going on. He was one of those guys who really shaped what art was in Durham, North Carolina. And knowing that as a young man, and I had a chance to do some research on where the artists were. It wasn't just I was just thinking. I was going to go to UCLA because I wanted to go to California, go west, and I did research in North Carolina State University. Just happened to have the top. This was before the white schools decided to gobble up all of the great black artists and bring them to their schools so that they could get all all the middle class kids to come to their schools. And so I went over there and took my portfolio and the letters and talked to Dean at that time and said, y'all ought to have an art scholarship program here, and I want to come here. And so Atlanta Henderson said, well, we'll look at it. We'll get back to you. And lo and behold, they started an art scholarship over at North Carolina Central University, and that's where I went and studied. And my junior year, those teachers that I just talked about got gobbled up and went to white schools, which kind of pissed me off. And so I quit school. I was that upset I quit school because the new teachers that came in were starter teachers. And I was in class teaching kids how to draw hands. And I just thought it was
I
unfair.
had to start, man, somebody tried to slide a starter teacher in on me. And you know, we hazed that dude. When it come to graduating, he hazed me unnecessarily, but we hazed him.
Yeah.
And we let him know that he was not up to snuff.
And I think that's one of the things that don't
We had
happen.
a real professor. You ever had a real professor and then they give you a scab?
I'm telling you, man, and even today, this is
Even
how
in Morehouse, we had a physical science teacher that wanted to tell us that the Greeks developed civilization. Man, I'm paying you, this is back in the 80s, $8,000 a year for you to tell me this hocus pocus, Alice in Wonderland, fictitious bull crap.
Yep.
Brother,
Yep.
I wanted to quit school altogether too because I said, y'all lying. And you making me paying top dollar for your lies. I don't like that. Now, I do like them girls across the street there at Spelman because they are real, real intelligent. And I like to learn something from them.
But that is the sadness of education sometimes. You know, I had a teacher even today when I wrote my first book, you know, I was trying to be a nice guy. I said, man, you want to say something in my book? You know what he told me? Well, I can't put anything in your book because when you was in school, you acted like you were superior to me. I said, I was. I said, what's the problem? I said, you can't. And I told him, I said, you had just gotten a job and the top teachers in the country had just left. When you came in, everybody that was in class was more advanced than you was. Because I'm a grown man now. I can say these things. At that time, I was at a
Trying to
point
be
where I just
respectful.
quit. No, I just quit. I was like, no, I don't want to go here in the morning. They sent me a letter and said in the letter that if I didn't come back to school, that they was going to take my scholarship. And I had promised my grandmother that I was going to graduate it. So I came back to school and I put my head down in the ground and got out of school. And I'll tell you, those teachers that came, I had another teacher to tell me I was going to be a starving artist. And no, he didn't say I was going to be. He said artists were going to be starving, and you need to look at what you're going to do with your life and the whole nine. And so he convinced me to go into advertising. And so when I look back at it years later, there was a guy by the name of Mark Bradford who makes $12 million a painting. There's a couple of other artists, Basquiat. There's a bunch of artists who made a lot of money. And I did.
Hey man, you can't gloss over Basquiat. Stop that, man. Tell him who Basquiat was.
I'm not glossing over him.
Who was Basquiat?
Excuse me.
Who was Basquiat?
Oh, Basquiat was Samo, a guy out of New York City, who did graffiti art first, and then he got an opportunity to start doing some of the work that he liked to do with I'm trying to think this other guy with another artist in New York City, and became a very, very famous artist. Um, one of the points I was making with Basquiat and these other artists, I studied these guys to try to figure out, and everybody needs to hear what I'm getting ready to say. Study these guys to figure out why did they become successful? Why were they such great artists? And realize because they kept doing the work. And you just got to keep doing the work. And so, fortunate for me, even though I was pushed to go to advertising, I continued to draw and paint every day. And so I got a catalog from 1969 all the way to 2022. And I paint each and every day. I retired from advertising to draw and paint. But my point was, this my art counselor, he convinced me to change my major. I was going to be art education and teach school. And he convinced me to move into another field, which I'm not mad at the field because I was very successful in it. And what I found out about these other
he gave you a good suggestion.
A good suggestion.
But what I learned,
what I learned was that if you keep doing what you do and you stay true to what you're doing, that people will find you and you will find them. Because all of the advertising that I did, I flew around the country being a photographer. I flew around the country shooting for Black Enterprise. Delta was my sponsor. I worked with Black Expo USA and actually helped create the Black Business Expo, and did tons and tons of business with business owners and built an empire that I was successful at. But at the end of the day, it didn't matter what I was going to do. My great grandfather used to say, the number one thing on this country is to think. It didn't matter what I was going to do. I was going to be successful anyway. And like I said, he was a starter teacher, but even today he still has that same kind of spirit. And we as older people got to get away from that spirit of just because you're up and coming and you're doing something, that we got to tear you down to build ourselves up. And so, when you was talking about earlier about school and these kids going to school with these $200 belts and these $150 and $200 tennis shoes, and they don't bring anything to the table, what we have to do as a community is to start building these kids up to let them understand that on the other side of all of that wearing clothes is something called wealth. And you can't get the wealth.
Hey, check this out. I was at a restaurant last night. There was a couple gorgeous African sisters there. I know I'm getting ready to get in trouble. I'll stay in trouble. Gorgeous African sisters, very shapely. I'm sitting there having my, anniversary meal. And hey, who don't like to look at a beautiful woman? Shapely. Girl had hips, 2 of them. But I noticed, and I'm certain they were from Africa, these sisters wearing these weaves from Africa. I can see sister girl from West Baltimore with the weave. East Baltimore, New York. I get it. I get it. How the industry has been usurped. An industry started by Black women. Starting with Annie Turnbull Malone. You ever heard of Annie Malone?
Yes, sir.
She was the mentor
to
Madam C.J. Walker. A lot of people don't know the story.
They don't.
Annie Turnbull Malone, Madam C.J. were the pioneers of the Black beauty industry. I'd rather talk to a bald-headed sister than one with a weave. I'm not doing the weave. I'm not doing the weave. I'm not.
Well, one of the things
I think a baldy, I'm not doing the weave. I've been there, done that.
Well, one of the things that you find out with African, and I'm not.
I ain't even finished with that.
This is no shade on African women.
Cream.
I love them. There's no shade, But one of the things that you will find out with a lot of black women out of the country, um, they listen to European.
European standards of beauty.
Yes.
European
Yep.
sister, you are black. Your hair is a bush. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Why you? And then the woman was at this right in front of me, and this woman was doing this the whole damn time. And it's like, boo, we need some intervention. We need some therapy. I ain't knocking you if you wear the weave. Do your thing, boo.
But
I
and
mean,
you know
I look at
another
the money. Look at the money.
and another
Look at
cultural
the
thing.
damn money we pay the people in another damn country to wear something artificial. Now, my thought, the thing I was thinking most of all, Africans are inventive. Africans are creative. Why the hell hasn't somebody come up with the African weave? Why are we paying people in England, India, and China for some artificial stuff? And then don't get the cheap weave. You got to get the yak. You got to get the top notch. And I'm thinking to myself, what would our grandmothers and great grandmothers say about this generation today? Oh, but you can't say that. It's the dummying down of our people. We done got so out. We're dumber than people who just got out of slavery. They were smart. They built stuff. They owned stuff. They wanted land. What do a Negro want? A $200 pocketbook. No, a $600 pocketbook that ain't got no damn money in it. Made by some people that don't even like you. And they told you they don't like you.
Well, you know, one of the things that you said is really critical, and I hope people really hear what you said. You know, an industry that's built by somebody else, and then we are the $1.6 trillion group that pay for that, and they don't even like you.
England, India, China, #1 weave manufacturers in the world. I told my daughter, you gonna wear that? Next thing I know, she's selling it. And I appreciate her. This is 5 years she's been selling the yak, the weave, and all that. And I'm glad she's doing it. But you know, I still can't stand it. I will take a baldy because it's you man, check this out. Have you ever seen somebody, they done wore weave so long, you forgot what the hell they look like without it? And that's what's happening. We have forgotten who the hell we are.
And
Men
that is,
too.
that is,
Dude. 1 minute I see dude, he got no hair on his face. Next thing I know, he got this whole Jimmy Jank all the way around with the Beijing. Hairline all the way back here, but the Beijing, you don't know, that's like, it's like taking a stencil and spray painting. And it's like, that is shoe polish. That's not your hair. But I get it. Do you?
No, we shouldn't be under those kinds of pressures because it's.
Why don't we like ourselves?
Well, we've been trained not to like ourselves from birth.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Well, if you listen to radio, you watch a television, you watch a newspaper, all you are gonna get is black people. Listen, I just did a and I'm glad you brought this up. I just did a metaverse hackathon. And the hackathon was about social issues. And we did a project that talked about photos and black imagery on the internet. And every time you put in black man, the internet talks about culture. Every time you put in white man, it talks about authenticity and what's authentic. And what we found was you can put in right now, you can put a rear head of a black man, and what'll come up is a picture of a black man with his back turned to you, and it'll say "cool black man." My question is, why would it say "cool black man"?
Because that's the racist ass people who made them algorithms for Google and all these other outlets and social media out there. We
And
don't
that
realize how other people have defined us. Check this out. I got one even simpler than that. If you go look up the faces of Black people in history, say Louis Armstrong.
mm-hmm.
Guess who wants to own Louis Armstrong's photos? Not his family, not his hometown. Everybody else wants to own his photos. So you may have one of those big time companies. You see Louis Armstrong, but across the picture you'll see another company's name. How have you bought that man's image? Well, who the hell are you? This man been dead 200 years, but you got that black man picture and you put your name on it, Alamy. This is my picture. If you want it, you got to pay me for it. I'm not paying you, fool.
Well,
that's how deep the lying and the stealing goes from people who want to define you as a cool black man.
And that is what I'm saying. And so that our project was based on the imagery of Black people and the words, and just like you said, the algorithms. What happens when you type in that word? You know, if I type in black man, why I got a white man there? If I type in black man,
because you ain't made Google and you ain't write the algorithm for Google. And the one who did don't like you. Well, actually, they do like you. They like you so much they want to be you.
There you go.
But the reality is clicked in that they can put all of the interference in the world. They can never be you.
That's right. That is why critical race theory is a situation where they don't want critical race theory, because here again, it's going to talk about what
you can't handle the truth.
And I'm going to tell you something.
What Jack Nicholson say?
Yes, but I'm going to tell you something else that I was talking to a group about the other day. You know, we sit around and talk about slavery, and we think that slavery was a transport of people that was 21, 25, 26, and 27 years old. Well, it wasn't. It was a transport of kids, because what they did was they stole those children at about 12 or 13, took them to the West Indies for 4 to 6 years. And if you say 6 and 12, how old are you when you get to America? Now you're talking about, because it took about a year to come across those waters. The reason them slaves was dying is because they didn't know what to do when they was having those health issues in the bellies of those ships. And they were grown folk, they wouldn't have died. They would have did just like the white people. They wouldn't have died. And now we don't talk about that part, because again, we get a watered down piece of slavery, and you get people who lived their entire lives. And how long did it take before people who were considered slave to get a conscious mind to understand that slavery was wrong? Because if you're a kid at 10 years old and you're stolen from a country, and then you're trained to be a slave, mentally you're thinking slave is what it is. And so when we look at even today, and when you was talking about dumbing down our kids and going to school, and we've changed our mindset to what we got on instead of that's what's in our head. A dear friend of mine
said that not everybody's made for college. And I want to know, where did that crap evolve? Where did it come out of? I'm not saying everybody's supposed to be in college, but all these people who think 60 is passing, the emphasis I see that we put on back to school clothes. Back to school clothes. You better do your damn work. And then when the kid turned 19, there's no plan. My mother had a plan. You might not have known the plan, but she had a plan.
That's
right. And let me tell you how it went down. And I'd heard excuses about this, but my mother batted 4 for 4. She said, "Are you ready? Are you ready? I want you to listen. Are you ready? Don't miss this."
I'm not.
At 18, you out of there. At 18, you're leaving. College, military work, but at 18, you're leaving. I knew that was drilled in my head. At 17, my stuff was packed. I'm at the door on my way to Morehouse. I know I'm leaving. It's been groomed in me. But suppose my parents never said that. My daddy only had said one time, "You're not staying here." That's how that went down. You're going to do something with your life. And that's just the way it is. And so you give kids all, good morning. We must know ourselves, history, culture. We must teach our truth to our people, our communities. Amen, Deborah Pierce for Kunle. We got to start giving
just
out.
like you said about your parents, it was ingrained in me that I was going to do something. Okay. It was ingrained.
Expectation. Like my Chairman Shepherd in the morning, he expects to go out.
Yep. And so every time they asked who was going to go to college, I raised my hand. I have no clue how I was going to go, but I knew I had to do something because it was ingrained in me. Luckily for me, 3 teachers grabbed me up and said that I was cheating the world and that I needed to draw, and they made me draw for them, those 3 classes. I asked them, I said, well, if I'm going to draw for y'all, am I going to get any extra credit? And they brought me home.
I thought you was an entrepreneur. I thought you were going to say, do I get paid?
No, well, I was getting paid because I was drawing on people's jeans and charging $20. I did about $200 a week. But my teacher said that I asked them where I go get extra credit, and my teacher said to me, and they brought it home. She said, "We're not gonna give you extra credit for something that you can do." And so, as I drew at the end of the year, I won the best artist of the state of North Carolina. Then I got letters, and that's how I went to college, because the whole time it was anticipation, like you said, that you're gonna do something.
How much does it take to stand on a corner and sell weed all day?
It takes a lot. It takes some. I hate to say it. It takes some ingenuity. It takes some information, and it takes some guts, because only 1% gonna make it. And these kids.
You sound like you got a better chance in the NBA.
Whoa, you do. That's why it's pushed on you. Think about it. The 1%ers, NBA, movie stars, rappers, dancers, drug dealers, and criminals, they're the 1%ers. 1% gonna be successful, but what is taught to our kids? You talked about dumbing down. What is taught to our kids? Fake it till you make it. That's what's taught to our kids. During our time, Donnie, during our time, or let's say before our time, these young Black people was learning Latin. They were learning Latin. Bruh. We ain't talking about English. We talking about Latin. We talking about the sciences. We talking about knowing English well enough to write. Not knowing English well enough to talk, but to actually write. Okay, now let's fast forward. What are our kids doing today? TikToking to be famous. You got kids who are saying, I'm not even going to go to school. I want to be TikTok famous.
Stop right there. Let a kid of mine say they're not going to school. They will be homeless. I might be locked up if you catch me. But you ain't living here and not going to school.
And our kids, not only that, Donnie,
you're not telling me what you're doing. I'm providing a roof over your head.
That is the problem.
I'm providing, and you're not going to do what?
And that is the problem. That is the problem, Donnie. That is the problem.
That's retarded.
Without a doubt. But in our day, we knew that mama was providing. We knew what our role
mama
was.
Would come up to school and embarrass you in front of your class.
And now if a mama comes up to the school and does that, it's almost a crime.
Oh my God. Call the authorities. She put her hands on the little people. I'm with Bernie Mac. I will bust a kid up.
And that's the problem.
We had some male teachers that saved some young Black men's lives because they grabbed them by the collar. They still alive today because our male teachers had the authority from God to G-check a couple of chumps because they were on their way to the graveyard at 12.
But you got to look at why. Not just it happens, but why. Why do our kids come to school faking it to make it? Why do our kids come to school and not prepared?
That's what they see at home.
You got to look at what has been created. Grandmothers now are 30 years old.
Woo!
Think about what I just said.
Dang.
Grandmothers now are 30 years old. So
grandma got tattoos.
Yeah. So that would mean that
grandma wearing tattoos to
that mama is 15 and 17 years old. Okay.
So mama going to the PTA meeting tatted up.
Yep. And so if mama is 17, 16, and 17 years old, because mama can have three kids gets them through the projects, 3 kids, they get paid for 3 kids through the projects. Yeah, they're paying $30 a month over there, but think about what they're actually giving up. Okay. Now you become really a breeding ground for no knowledge. So now you're trying to figure out what to do, and you can't ask nobody. You can't ask a 30-year-old how to survive on the planet. She is right now learning to survive. Right now, she's 30, she's learning to survive. And so that is the sadness of what we're talking about. You know, during my time, if my great grandfather who raised me walked in the room and said something to you, you took it like it was law. What he said, you did exactly what he said. Right now, our kids walk into the rooms. Mama has no power over the child. If you whoop the child, they call the law on the mother. And now, even though
I want to say something to you. I got a pet peeve. I got to put it out there. Women who are so weak. Now, I ain't talking about good women. I'm talking about these women who use child support as a tool of control. Now, I ain't talking about people that have been wrong. Some people have been wrong. They laid with somebody who they didn't realize was trifling, which is still your damn fault. And you can't talk about he ain't no damn good because you must ain't got some ain't no good stuff because you keep attracting ain't no good people. That's what the comedian said. And I ain't saying the comedian's always right. But those that use child support, parental alienation, and grandparent alienation, there's a special plate of warmed over shit for you down in hell. It's bad enough we got people outside of the community driving a wedge, but you got a whole breed of women, not all of them, who are so damn sick and toxic they can't control the poison in them, so they pass it on to the children and the grandchildren. Put them on child support, baby. That's not of our culture, you moronic idiot. We teaching the little girls will get pregnant by so-and-so and then take them downtown. That's the phrase, take them downtown. And then the girlfriend crew, yeah, girl, take them downtown, take them downtown. These dummies will do it to their own children. They will put their own sons on child support. That's how sick some of us have become.
And you got to understand why it's there. You know, slavery
ain't
over.
I told that judge?
Look, slavery ain't over.
This is what they told the judge for me. They say, Your Honor, he said he don't need no white man telling him how to take care of his children. You know what the judge said? I'm glad to hear that. How low we will go to make a point.
Well, not only that, you know, when we look at history and we look at today, we almost see a parallel of the same things going on. You know, the sadness is this, Donnie.
People want something for nothing, faking like they love the Lord.
Yeah, but the sadness is this.
You did a book. Jesus, and they wouldn't help Jesus across the street. I know about them fake and phony Christians passing the plate 3 times. Then they count the money and say, oh, we $75 short. We're going to go around one more time. You ever been one of them little hole-in-the-wall churches?
I've been to more of those hole-in-the-wall churches.
Hey, listen, we candidates, sermon ain't even started yet. Listen, we $75. This the introductory offering. We need you to come back around again. We done been in that stick up before, okay? Stop that dumb stuff. This is 2022.
Not
Still
only
playing
that,
games.
not only that, there's always a building fund, and there's never no
Ain't
building.
never built nothing. My God, brother, Bishop Kevin Elliott, they bought the church. They paid for the church. The church has been paid for. Churches I grew up in, and they had a building fund since Harriet Tubman. And the preacher in a Bentley, and the water bill ain't paid.
But let's
Don't
get
make
back.
me talk about your church because I'd have been there. I know who you are.
But let's get back to what you just did, and I'm going to show you how turbulent it is. Not only your anniversary, I want to congratulate you on that, but
To
your
God
book,
be the glory.
your book on Black Wall Street. All of the Black Wall Streets all over the country, whether it was New York City, whether it was Tulsa, Oklahoma, whether it was Durham, North Carolina, of course, the first Black Wall Street, wherever those Black Wall Streets were, they were burnt out, bombed out, and at the end of the day, who were the people that was burnt out and bombed out? They were entrepreneurs. They was entrepreneurs. And what people don't realize, it takes 5 years to really build a business back up. And many of them, the age that they were, it was their kids who had to fill in the legacy. And what their kids decided to do, instead of building up businesses because they didn't understand economics, they decide to buy from other nationalities. And so that's
right now in my block, there's a man from New York City, Muhammad. Now I presume he ain't Muhammad off North Avenue. He Muhammad from overseas. No problem. But Muhammad been trying to get the corner store on my block for 12 years. He lives in New York. So today I'm going to call Muhammad and ask him, how come you trying to come to my neighborhood with you? And are you trying to bring us some overpriced products?
Without a doubt.
Planet want to hear from me, whether it's to support you or to not support you. And it ain't looking real pretty right now.
But you already know what it is. You already know what it is. You already know what it is.
Damn right.
He's trained to understand in the Black community that he can bring inferior product and he can hijack the price, and they're going to buy because they're not going to go. And not so much they're not going to go. It costs more to go across town to the grocery store. So he calls himself bringing in a convenience store. Okay. With doing that, all he's doing has been a leech on your community. That's it. That's all.
Like
he's been trained to understand this how it works so that he can build a family and a legacy for himself. And we have been taught that Black is inferior. So I'm not even going to go to that corner store and shop with Black folk. I'm going to watch them die. And then I'm going to be happy that they went out of business. That's the mentality that Black people got these days.
I got to tell you, there was a lady in my neighborhood, Miss Dee Dee. They bought the store from Miss Mallory and them. So the Mallorys had it, then the Barretts had it. Miss Dee Dee never sold to nobody else. The Asians came at her all the time. Westwood and Ruxton, West Baltimore. But to my knowledge, she is not sold and will not sell because she understands that very thing. We must have for ourselves. I don't need you to do for me what I can and should do for myself. That's why you got to think for yourself. Biden, back when Obama was president, Biden said, don't vote for the Republicans. They're going to put you people back in slavery. Would Joe Biden have said that to the Jews? Don't vote for the Republicans. They're going to put you back in the oven. No, they wouldn't have said it to the Jews because the Jews would have had his damn job by noon. But it's okay to say that shit to me. No, it's not, Joe. And Trump was right. He is Sleepy Joe. He's right about that. But they got Trump on the ground right now.
But again, when you say stuff like that, wait a minute now. When you say stuff like that, it really goes to the core of what words are and how people use words to control people. Because
we don't know when we've been insulted. When the Haitians got beat at the border, I made noise about it. I called Kwesi and
where did all
Pope.
those people go in Texas? Remember what happened in Texas?
That's what I'm talking
Where did
about.
all those people go? Where did they go?
Oh, they got locked up or they got sent back to Haiti. But we took billions and sent it to the Ukraine. Time out. One is white and one is black. Two different responses. Two totally different responses. We sending billions to the Ukraine. We ain't sent the chicken box to Haiti.
Oh, and we not going.
Hillary Clinton.
We not going to send nothing to Haiti.
Went down there trying to write a grant.
We not going to send a penny to Haiti because Haiti.
We love the Clintons. Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton locked up more Negroes than any president in history because he smoked a joint and played the saxophone. Don't you be fooled. A Klansman is a Klansman is a Klanswoman. All the same. Where was Hillary at when we were getting? That's why she ain't win the presidency.
Well, you know
she couldn't get over that omnibus crime bill of 94. And you got black people today. All the Clintons, we revere the Clintons, but we will never even mention Claude Anderson's name.
Oh no, we're not going to do Claude Anderson.
Negroes, because they want to be accepted by other people.
Well, you know we got 7 minutes to go. 7 minutes to go.
Let me let you speak your piece.
You know I got to give it to him. 7 whole minutes. Want to thank Donnie Glover for allowing me to be on his platform, one of the greatest platforms in the history of America, Black America USA. This is a program that you need to not only tune into, but to support. And what does support mean? Support means with your dollars. These things don't happen because somebody just woke up and rolled out of the bed and just said, I want to do it. We need to support this program. We need to call him up. It shouldn't be Donnie needs to call you and say, support my programming. You need today to give Donnie Glover a call and say, hey, Donnie, I want to support your program. Well, let's talk about another program, the Black Business Olympics. The Black Business Olympics, one of the largest business showcases for Black people, Black businesses in the world. Right now, the Black Business Olympics has just did 7 days. We did 7 days in July. And those 7 days, we had over 450,000 people to come and see Black excellence on the internet. And now as we move into September 8th, 19th through the 25th, we're going to do it again. We do the Black Business Olympics every other month. And what we do is we ask you, the business owner, to come and tell your story so that we can raise scholarships for kids. As we talked about kids earlier, if we don't value our value, then our value will not be valuable. And with that being said, our value right now is our kids. If you understood that in Africa, the average age is 15, in Europe it's 27, in North America it's 27, 28, and 29. In Brazil, it is 28. The average age on this country right now is 31. If you're in business and you continue to sell your services to people 31 and older, in 10 years, you will be obsolete. So we have to look at our students and our kids and our young entrepreneurs and begin to not only celebrate them, but to patronize them, to not only patronize them, but to buy from them. Understand $1.6 trillion every year. Every year, $1.6 trillion. Where does that money go? When we look at all the Black businesses right now in North America, they represent $200 billion. And then we look at one company, Amazon, and he represents $300 billion. What does that say for our community? We got to begin to understand that the color of freedom is green. I want to say that again. The color of freedom is green. And stop dealing in this whole, I don't like you business. I don't like you. I don't like you. We got to understand that we're trained each and every day not to like Black. Think about it for a moment. All those Black Wall Streets that were destroyed. urban removal. Now, urban people say renewal, urban removal, where you run highways through people's communities. If we would just understand that if all black people right now would open up a business, that $171,000 to $17,000 would disappear. What is the first thing you hear when we say all black people to open up a business? Well, he don't need to open up a business. He's not honest. He's not this. He's not that. Don't say that about nobody else's community but our community. Today, I want you to go to Black Business Expo USA.com. Go there, check it out. And then for those who don't have not ever heard of the Black Business Olympics, go to YouTube and put Black Business Olympics in, and you'll notice when the pandemic hit, we were doing a physical event. What we did was, excuse me, what we did was we pivoted and we did an online show that has garnered over 10 million people in 3 years. Ask yourself, why did that happen? It happened because we reached out to global speakers all around the world, Singapore, Paris, Canada. We reached Burundi, to Africa. We reached all the way to Australia to have black people to speak on our platform. Think about what I just said. If you are right now thinking about business and you have one of these, a telephone, you can reach across the world and do business. That's what everybody else is doing. The question is, what are you doing? And with that being said, I know we got 2 minutes. I'm so happy to get a chance to do my spiel. When Donnie calls, I'll come running.
Big brother, what's the spiritual message for us? We've talked about a lot of things. You know, as you were talking, and this is from the early onset of the show, I could hear somebody in the background playing, somebody pray for me. Had me on their mind, took the time and prayed for me. I'm so glad they prayed. I'm so glad they prayed. I'm so glad they prayed for me. You don't know nothing about that. They don't play that down there where you from, do they?
Come on now, you know this is the Bible Belt down here. It's the Bible Belt, baby. It's the Bible Belt. But you asked me what is my spiritual thing. This what it is, Donnie. What you are looking for, whoever you are, what you are looking for is looking for you. I want you to think about that today.
Say that again.
What you are looking for is looking for you. If you look,
I am, baby.
If you're looking for wealth today, it's looking for you. If you're looking for prosperity today, it's looking for you. If you're looking for poverty today, it's looking for you. So open your eyes up and look. When the Wizard of Oz, nobody thinks about this. The Wizard of, I'm taking you away, taking the white folk land. When the Wizard of Oz happened, what was the one thing that Dorothy needed to do?
Pull that damn curtain back.
She needed to just open her eyes up.
Take them tight ass shoes off.
Open her eyes up.
Take them tight ass shoes off.
We just need to open our eyes up to what's going on in America today and make a change.
Richard Pryor said, if you put somebody in a pair of shoes 2 sizes too small, they're going to snitch on everything.
And one of the other things you can say, your actions will snitch on you. No matter what you're doing on this planet, your actions will snitch on you. And Donnie, before I get out of here, and I know it's time, thank you so very much for allowing me to be on the platform. Anytime you call my brother, I will be here because you're the man. Congratulations.
Power to the people. My name's Donnie Glover. Do check out bemorenews.com and blackusa.news. Do pick up a copy of Unapologetically Black. And also, I am Black Wall Street. I'm getting old.
Indeed.
Gotta plug them. Charles Robinson told me I haven't plugged my stuff well enough. And do check out the evening programs that we have. We appreciate your comments. If you want to be on the show, Dr. Taborn. Oh, man, the legend.
Oh,
The legend. STEM City. This is the creator behind STEM City USA. opening up platforms around the world for people like me and you, man. Say a word about Dr. Taborn,
Man,
man.
not the table in the STEM city, man. You know, it's what has not been done is being done in the metaverse right now. We are 1% in the metaverse. We have got to not become consumers in the metaverse and become creators and demand our place. We didn't get a chance to talk about STEM City and the great work that STEM City is doing and the great programming. If you are anywhere today, take the time out and type this into your URL. Yeah, we know you going to YouTube. Yeah, we know you going to Facebook. But type STEM City USA in your URL and go there today and see the greatness of what's going on in the metaverse. And of course, STEM City has two sides of the metaverse. They have 3D side and they have a 2D side. If you don't have an Oculus, you need to save up instead of for a $200 belt, save up for an Oculus because the world is already here and it always is here. People don't understand that Facebook stole the infinity symbol to be their logo. Who
Uber
created it?
stole rides from black hackers who are out here hustling and taking you places when your money was funny. Now you got a credit card and you only go to the brothers who hacking no more.
And the sad thing is this, after they did that, and I said earlier, the average age in America and all over the world is 31. The reason he changed the name to Meta is because young people were not going to come on Facebook because Facebook is their daddy's platform. And look at it now. If you're not paying attention, you remember that lady that came on and talked junk about Facebook, what they were doing with the algorithms, all that stuff. What did Zuckerberg do the next day? He shut Facebook down. So on that Tuesday, nobody talked about all that mess that Facebook was doing. They talked about Facebook being shut down. That's the power. He has 3 billion people on there on Facebook. He wants 3 billion people on Meta. And what's going to happen? He's going to be able to tell you what to think each and every day. And if we don't wake up, who's going to control the universe? Because everybody's going to be looking in the metaverse. You better learn. You better do it now.
It's going to be LeVar Burton on the front of the Star Trek Enterprise with them glasses on. That was a joke.
Hey, guy, thank you so very much for allowing me to come into your household. But thank you so very much, Dr. Taborn, for being not only a legend, but being somebody who has the vision to see where we're going. And people don't understand what I'm saying, and I'm going to say it right now. We're 1% now. What happens when we get to be 50% in the metaverse? Are we going to control our destiny? Are we going to control our voice? If you think about it, AI, and I'm going to say it, when you listen to these machines who you're talking to, the language that you're using right now is being manipulated to give you the answer.
So we need, let me just say this, we need some Wakanda AI. We need some Wakanda AI with some Wakanda algorithms. So when they catch people not talking about what we want to talk about, they get ranked all the way down the bottom, just like they do with black news outlets. Because
let's not call it Wakanda. Let's call it, we need some black AI. Because when we call it Wakanda, and I know I'm gonna get in a little trouble when I say that movie was black on black crime to the hill. I don't care what y'all say, because remember, most superheroes did what? They protected the world from a monster. And who was the monster in that movie? Another black man who all he wanted to do was get his heritage. All we got, and who saved the world? A white man who jumped into a a airplane and shot down black people out the sky who was going where? To liberate black people all over the world. I ain't trying to hear it. Y'all can't convince me. But at the end of the day, that one black
I don't
man.
even want to talk about Wakanda. We gonna call it Zulu land, okay? We want some Zulu AI.
Well,
damn, Wakanda was a fraud. Wakanda, they had a white hero. All of them black people, the man died and went to heaven. You tell me it's a white hero.
Look, Donnie, we can do the Black Panther all day. And then hold on. When the star died, the star died. He died of cancer. Rest his soul. We can't get another Black Panther. He's got to die in the movie. When Batman goes to another Batman, we get another Batman. When Superman goes to another Superman, we get another Superman. When Spider-Man goes to another Spider-Man, we get another Spider-Man. Well, when a black man dies in real life, it is to the core so bad until we can't get another Black Panther. It's got to be a woman. Okay, we can get a She-Hulk. We can get all this other stuff, but when it comes to black people, guess what?
I don't even want to go see Wakanda no more. I'm gonna go upstairs and play Zulu.
Look, I got one last one. You gotta let me give you the last one.
Oh my God.
The NBA, in the middle in the NBA, we had a big black man who was the dominant force in the NBA. We couldn't stand the black man being the dominant force on nothing. We had to pull him out the middle so that white people can go down the lane and score. Okay, hello. We got to look at what's going on and understand that our genius is coming, as Bruce George says, that our genius is coming. When we start talking about great people on the planet, we never bring up George Washington Carver, who took a peanut. We never bring up Drew, who died right here in Hillsborough, who did the blood plasma transplant.
Dr. Charles Drew.
That's right. We don't talk about him. He died in Hillsborough because what? He couldn't get a blood transfusion.
The man who invented it. They said, you're not good enough to receive this.
We can't do that. But we missed, when we talked earlier on the show, and we said, and I said, that we are trained to think like this. That's why you got them African women coming over here with weaves, and the number one product is a cream that lightens you up in Africa. We are being trained not to be the great people that we are. And the sadness of that is this. Even with us being trained not to be the great people we are, we still being the great people that we are. You can't stop the genius that's inside of the black man and the black woman. It ain't gonna happen. The minority on the planet, nobody want to talk about this, but the minority on the planet is what? White folk. But the mental majority on the planet is white.
Did you see Leslie Graham? Did you see Leslie Graham on TV yesterday?
Nope.
Talking about now you know Trump. If somebody were doing one of them motion videos, slowly but surely Trump's hands are going behind his back. Slowly but surely they are circling the wagons on Donald Trump. Slowly but surely they're putting a noose around his neck and they're about to string him up. He thinks he's running for president. He might be running for president of the tier, but there's no way that on God's green earth that Donald John Trump should be anywhere except a Sunday school class or in a prison uniform. Because he has no respect for people. And he's a traitor who launched the insurrection. That is a traitor.
But Donnie,
and Leslie Graham is a traitor.
But Donnie, watch white America.
Police, so you see that black man with that gun? I would not have been running with that iron in my hand. Donnie Glover, hey, you heard of Christmas addicts? Well, I ain't getting shot. The hell with all of that. Somebody else be getting shot, and I'm going to be in a bulletproof vest, well protected, and I got my lawyers.
Well, if you
Can you
watch
imagine if black people would have stormed the Capitol?
but if you watch white,
They'd have shot every one of
I
them.
want to address what you said about Donald Trump. If you watch white America, if you just watch white America, Donald Trump is
Hitler. No different than Hitler. No different.
He's white America. It is exactly what
then they are Hitler. And by the way, Jesse Owens dismissed this racial superiority bullcrap. He mashed it so far down their throat, they will never mention that foolishness again.
Well, you know, when you start talking about people like Jesse Owens and Madam C.J.
Mashed Hitler, mashed it all in his face.
You're talking about the greatness the greatness of us. And that's what I keep saying. You know, we can talk about all the things that other people have done. If you watch how they continue to erase us off the planet, you're not going to be able to erase us. It's not a possibility because at the end of the day, the reason that we're being hated is because we, in our DNA, can annihilate other people off the planet. That's the problem. Little Jerome and little Mikey goes to the court, and little Jerome dogs little Mikey. Mikey goes home. Mama says to Mikey, "Don't worry about them. You are superior to them, and you are better than them." But what happens to Jerome that just dogged little Mikey? We beat up Jerome so much, and we put him in a box, an 18-year-old box, to try to make him the next NBA ball player. We take his genius and pull it out of his head and tells him, this what you're going to do. And when he can't do it, then what he reverts to? Crime.
And you know what? I want to tell you this on that note, Dr. Kelly. Can I really blame, and I'm talking about the young adults, say 30 and up, can I blame them for selling cocaine, heroin, and crack when pharmaceutical companies sell our people poison
every day,
all day, every day, and got lobbyists to protect them
every day?
Even drugs that kill people, and eventually they got to pull them back off the market. Is there any difference? Because these doctors are pushing. Hey, my dad, before he went home, bless you, had 14 different medications. Then he had to prick himself. All of that was enough to drive a grown man insane.
Well, when you say
I ain't taking all them medications. I don't take no medication.
When you say can you blame?
Vinegar, give me some garlic. Give me some of that ginger I had
stay
in
away
there.
From that garlic. Stay away from that garlic. Stay away from that garlic. Yep.
I rebuke you. I rebuke you.
It's just my opinion. Just my opinion.
Your breath will stink a little bit, but hey, it's already stinking. Put some of the garlic up in your breath.
Before we get out of here, Donnie.
You don't eat garlic?
No. Let me tell you what garlic does. What garlic does is it goes into your veins and it eats the matter that's inside of your veins to open the flow of your blood so that your blood will be running through your veins.
Man, that's to eat through them hog maws and chitlins and them spare ribs.
Okay, now I'm a vegetarian, bro. I'm a vegetarian, so I don't do.
You ain't never ate no hog maws.
Since 1982, I haven't ate any.
That's good enough. It's just like weed. If you smoke some weed in 1975, it's still in your system.
But again,
we gotta go, man.
I want to thank you. I want to thank you for having me on the show. It's always awesome. We could be on here for 2 hours, but
thank you for the happy meal. The happy meal in the show.
No, I didn't say anything about no happy meal. I don't even
eat ain't plugging McDonald's. You know, that food don't even disintegrate.
I don't even eat that kind of food, my brother. But I want to thank you for this dialogue today because we don't get this opportunity to have dialogue about thought. We get a chance to have dialogue about basketball, football, all that stuff, but we really don't have idea about thought. And I want to thank you for Thought Conversations in the morning. You know, you call me, and anytime you call, if I'm available, you know I'm going to show up. And so, but I want to thank you. I want to thank Dr. Tabor for having the metaverse where we can go to. He had my Black Business Expo in the metaverse. He's the first person to say, hey, Dr. Kelly, I see what you're doing. I know what you're doing. Let me expand what you're doing. Okay. And many times we don't get Black men to say, let me expand you. We get Black men to say, here go a joint, let's smoke it and let's escape into some other world, as opposed to looking at engineers and people who are really doing things. And that's something that we got to not only celebrate, we got to congratulate. And again, I want to thank you for being on the show. And your book, I am Black Wall Street. My mama still needs a copy.
I guess I'm going to come down to North Carolina. I don't know if you've seen the gas
still
price.
Needs a copy. But
you know, it's right on Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
And she wants a signed copy by you, sir. And you send me your cash app, and I will send you the money for it. And that's what we need to do. We need to support you. We need to support your movement, because this is a movement. This is not a move. This is a movement. And
well, I got to tell you, Dr. Taborn has created this opportunity for us. And what I love about him, he understands business. I would venture to say he is the largest Black publisher in America, easily, on things, you know, when it comes to beauty, going out and entertainment, somebody telling jokes, we have entertainment mastered. I'm not interested in entertainment. I don't want to be a stand-up comedian. I don't want people telling jokes. I want us to, you know, have a serious understanding of our environment. And we can do this. We got doctors, lawyers, scientists. We can bankers, realtors. We can build our own world.
I just did it for 7 days. I had 145 speakers, Black people, to come on and speak on 7 different subjects on 7 days straight. 12 hours a day. We did it. We flipped it and made it 24 hours. And those Black people were there to share their greatness. And you're going to sit back and tell me that the world ain't ready? No, what's not ready is us understanding that the power that we have inside is more powerful than any power on the planet. We don't need nobody. We got $1.6 trillion.
We need each other.
If Martin King was alive today, and people don't even understand it, if he was alive today and you was in Black business, excuse me again, and he said, let's don't buy Nike, let's buy Maurice's apple pies today, we would reap the benefits of our money. That's what's been done to us every day. Every day we're told what to do with our money. Radio, television, and songs. Excuse me.
And they don't love us. All right, Mr. Kelly, you take care of yourself. You might want, I can say you stand some fresh garlic will knock that sneeze right on out you.
Hey, we not doing that.
Okay. Some honey and lemon.
Look, I got great-grandfather and great-grandmama who said to me, some fresh onions would kill it all. Anyway, with that being said, thank you so very much. You can go to blackexpousa.com.
That make your breath stink too.
But I rather for distinct than for me to die. You can do whatever you want to do with that. But thanks again, Don, and thank Dr. Tabor, and thanks to you all, because we want you to know that your greatness in the greatness of yourself. Utilize your greatness. And remember, there are no elevators to the top floor. You got to take the steps, which means you got to do the work.
Thank you, Dr. Kelly.